First, we at WagerTalk would like to thank everyone as a record number of you took advantage of our Thanksgiving 7-day special. We hope you enjoyed the convenience of getting your favorite handicappers plays daily during the hectic holiday weekend, and we also know that December can be a crazy month. Now we are offering a rest of calendar year special. Get every NFL, college bowl game, NBA, NHL, college basketball games, and all other sports of your favorite handicapper through December 31st for only $249. The early bird really does catch a worm for this special as it starts the day you sign up. No coupon needed. Pay only $249 today or pay $249 in a few days. The choice is simple. Let's have a great ending to 2021.
All right, guys, welcome in. It is the Friday edition of the NBA Tip-Off Show as we head into, well, a big card here tonight across all sports. 9 games in the association, 5 in the NHL. You mix in a couple of college basketball games, 20 to be exact. And, oh, yeah, we've got a couple of college football championship games. But our focus here is going to be on the hardwood. We're going to the association here and like to welcome in a very special edition of the NBA Tip-Off Show here today as the Friday crew in the house. Tony Mejia up top, Rob Veno hanging out in the middle. We also have Tony Finn blessing us, and we have a surprise guest who'll be joining us here in just a second. But Mejia, how was it last night, my friend? The card wasn't a crazy card last night. You didn't happen to have Oklahoma City, did you? No, please tell me no.
No, I had Memphis for the first half as a 4% play, and then I downgraded it to full game, just 2%, because I didn't want too much on one game. But in retrospect, I think I would have been fine laying the 70 since they covered 3? So, good stuff there. Good stuff in the football game. College basketball not as good, but we're going to go with college football 5% play tonight, and then we'll have NBA and college hoops as well. NFL card is a couple games are already loaded there, a couple 4% for Sunday. It looks like it's going to be a big day there, and obviously tomorrow, championship Saturday, I will get some plays up in there as well. So busy weekend, but we're rocking and rolling on that, and obviously everybody needs to get in on the December special that we've got running at WagerTalk, because that's got you. That's going to get you the best bang for your buck.
Yeah, $249, guys. All access right through the end of the year, through December 31st. $249. Your favorite handicapper, get every one of their plays, all sports, all plays, including the 5% ones, including this weekend, which would be really, really beneficial for you guys. $249 right now at WagerTalk.com. No coupon needed. Just visit their pages. And Rob Veno, I know you are locked and loaded. Certainly college football on your mind. But NBA last night, you weren't on New Orleans. I mean, you were here yesterday with us. You weren't on New Orleans, were you?
No, but we were on the show yesterday. Oklahoma City and Memphis under 108.5 for the first half. Game did land 108 somehow, some way. Oklahoma City contributed 36 of those 108. But, to further that point, it was about 45 minutes later when you and I were talking off air when the NBA realized that, well, maybe we should report this concussion that Sean Gilgeous-Alexander has. And that total shot all the way down to about 107. So I know a couple of late buyers were not able to get the good number, but we did hang on there. It was a light night last night, Joe. I mean, as far as client selections were concerned last night, didn't like a heck of a lot. Did not play the football game. But we do have college football up and available right now for conference championship weekend. 5% is up and loaded. 4% best bet up and loaded. Play for tonight with an additional one coming. One's already loaded. And in fact, one FCS. I know FCS doesn't appeal to everybody, but it is the playoffs, second round of the playoffs, where you'll get real good football. So, you get an opportunity to watch a little bit of that. And some of these teams, just real quick, they're making the jump to FBS football within the next couple of years. So you want to pay attention to some of these now because they'll be on your, full betting board within a couple of years. Rich Rodriguez, I think, even took the job at Jacksonville State just last week. So FCS, FBS, whatever you want, college football, we're up and loaded.
All right, let's do it. And yes, Rob loves his New Orleans. That's going to be his dog later in the show, guys. I can guarantee you they're on the board. New Orleans is where he is going. But I'm glad to see you aren't on Oklahoma City. I can't imagine who would have actually bet Oklahoma City yesterday, given what we've known. Tony Finn, welcome in here, my man. What's new and exciting? How was your night? What were you on?
Oklahoma City.
Oh!
Fine. That's a fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
a violation of this show.
Never mind. I know now.
I have a very short memory. A very short memory goes a long ways in this business. But it might be a minute before I'm back on Oklahoma City again this week. So.
Guys, bottom line is, go get the All Access Pass. You'll get plays even like last night with Oklahoma City, whether you want it or not. All right, let us welcome in. We got a very special guest on this Friday. We have not seen him in a while. It is very rare that he is available now because he has actually taken on coaching duties, guys. He is now the winningest coach, I believe, in a certain school district. Steve Merrill back in the seat again. Merrill, what's going on, man?
Yeah, had our first middle school basketball game Wednesday night, 28-5 final, boys.
Yes!
And
yes!
We were not on the right side of that. I'll leave it at that. The boys team played right after us and lost 51-21. So theoretically, we lost by less than the boys team. I'm coaching the girls team. But so we took Friday off, not by choice. We play again Monday and Wednesday. Got one practice in yesterday. Bet against us this season, guys. That's going to be good money in the bank. And maybe I had a little wager on the other team. You'll never know. But, yeah, hey, look, basketball is going well, though, in general. College and pro hoops going very well for me. 32-16, so I appreciate you letting me sneak on today on Friday, Joe, as I didn't think I'd be available, but then I became available. When you lose 28-5, you all of a sudden become available a couple days later. I don't know how that works. But, NBA best bet tonight. And I actually had an ugly dog last night. I had the Detroit Pistons. And they were down by 5 as a 12-point dog with 3 minutes to go and still needed a backdoor layup to get the cover. But I faded Golden State in what I thought one of the worst sandwich spots in recent history in the NBA, as it was between the Phoenix win, and then, of course, the Golden State win, and then they play Golden State again tonight. So we faded Phoenix last night in that game. We'll talk about the Golden State-Phoenix game. I'm confusing myself as they're playing once again tonight. We'll get to that in a few moments.
Yeah, Tony Finn does that. Well, listen, the bottom line is at least you weren't on Oklahoma City here. So, all right, let's dive in here, guys. We've got some games to get to here. We're going to start with our contrarian play of the day, which, if I recall, Rob Veno said yesterday, and I quote, "Stop trying to get us to play the contrarian play of the day." Well, that cashed last night, cha-ching. And tonight, we are looking for the Minnesota Timberwolves. They are getting 7.5 in a fascinating matchup here against the Brooklyn Nets. Now, what's interesting is you've got a team here in Minnesota, 7-2 straight up in the last 9, 7-3 against the number in their last 10, going against a Nets team that's only 5-8-1 last month against the number. So while they're winning games, they're certainly not covering. And we got a T-Wolves team here, Tony Mejia, red hot, playing the best basketball they have played all season long. So what gives? Are you willing to take the 7.5 points in the T-Wolves tonight?
Well, I have my line. I'm looking at it is Brooklyn minus 7.5. And the reason why I went that high is because I anticipated Karl Anthony Towns being out with his tailbone. So I baked that in to my little personal line. And now it looks like he might play. He went through, nothing definitive, but he did show up at shoot around. I didn't even expect that. So if he plays, there might be value on Minnesota plus the points. It looks like Anthony Edwards is going to be in. Jared Vanderbilt's going to be in. Those two guys were out sick. And the Timberwolves having a little flu bug going around the team is a real thing because Jaden McDaniels remains out with the illness. And if you remember the other day, that's one reason why I liked Washington. And Washington pulled away from Minnesota because they ran out of gas. So, I think the Timberwolves are coming off a little flu bug. I don't like touching teams like that because, you figure you're going to be depleted after 36, 38 minutes. And that's usually when Kevin Durant and James Harden will do the bulk of their damage. So I want no part of this, even though the contrarians are on that. But I do recognize that there will probably be value on taking Minnesota plus the points, and you want to do that now. But again, you're guessing that Cat will play after participating in shoot-around. But if you watched that fall, I mean, he went up for a dunk and really came down. I mean, it looked pretty bad. It looked like something I wouldn't be able to come back from for at least 2022. So props to him if he's able to get out there tonight.
Yeah, but you know what's going to happen. Durant's going to twist his ankle 3 minutes before the game starts, and everything is going to go to hell here. Rob Veno, the Contrarian Gods, heard you. They answered with a San Antonio outright win last night. So let's try it again here. Can I interest you in a little contrarian Minnesota Timberwolves tonight?
Yeah, we did side with the Contrarians last night, and boy, they were good. And that game was never in doubt, San Antonio. But I like the way that Tony Mejia, and I think I'm going to start doing this, refers to the Contrarians as if they're a team in the game. The Contrarians. I think
they're God.
A pretty good way to refer to them now. The Nets, the Timberwolves, and the Contrarians all on the same floor at the same time tonight. And if they have anything to say, but I'll say this, Joe. You know, I put some notes together, and it's interesting with Minnesota. They've held 6 straight opponents to 101 points or less, and they were playing really good defense. That was up until a few games ago when Patrick Beverley got hurt. Since then, the Timberwolves are playing no defense without Patrick Beverley. Defense has allowed 115 or more in 3 of their last 4. This guy leaves the floor. The defense goes to heck. And so do their point spread covers. 4 games missing Patrick Beverley. They're 1-3 against the spread in these last 4. He's not playing tonight. Doesn't really bode well for them. However, the Nets, as you mentioned, have been no great shakes as a point spread team either. 1-5-1 against the spread in their last 7. So lesser of 2 evils here. I think I would side with Minnesota plus points. They always have the ability to score with an opponent. And if this gets into a wide open game, let's say the way Brooklyn and the Knicks did the other night, 112-110, we saw what happened. Brooklyn still doesn't play a heck of a lot of defense of their own. So let's hope that Karl Anthony Towns does play in this game, because obviously he means quite a bit if you're going to back the Timberwolves. But at the time we're doing this, I'll say I'll side with the Contrarians once again.
Contrarians,
and
yes.
The Contrarians plus 7.5.
Take the 7.5 with the Contrarians there. All right, so talk to us here, Tony Finn. Are you willing to side with Team Contrarians here tonight, or do you think Brooklyn's the way to go?
Well, I don't think I've been on a contrarian play yet this year. I take it back. I have been on one of the shows, but in this one, I have to have Towns play. And if Towns is in, I'm in. I'm in with this contrarian play for a couple reasons. One is, I've said it on the show before, I'll say it again. Brooklyn is not trustworthy laying more than 5, a touchdown at the most. You cannot do that with this team. They have no bench there. When Harden and when the big guy, the All-American, the best basketball player ever in the whole world is off the court, this team is so bad. They can't. You look at their second quarter scores or fourth quarter scores, especially at the beginning of those quarters. They're pretty miserable. If they have a lead, they give it up. So that said, absolutely, Minnesota, a very good perimeter defensive team. If you can get by that, like 25% of their shots from their opponents are completely wide open. Nobody within 6 feet, but they've done a good job. They've held their opponents to 32% against a team that scores most of their points, almost 40% of the points from the perimeter. Give me Minnesota. I'll take them.
All right, taking Minnesota. All right, Merrill, talk to us here, man. Welcome back. Are you willing to side with Team Contrarians in this one?
Yeah, I hate to do it. I mean, you're nice enough to have me on the show, and then right away I've got to pull the Swiss Miss card on you. It's been a while. It's still here. I think it's getting a little hard. I might have to use this sooner than later. It's getting a little caked. But if I had to play this one, I'm going with Brooklyn. I mean, obviously, it's all based on if Karl Anthony Towns plays or not has been established. He's a game time decision, which means we might know like 5 minutes before tip off. So I'm not going to be involved in this game for that reason. But if he does not play, I really like Brooklyn. Even if he plays, I think the Nets are the safer play here. It's all about focus for the Nets. They've been a point spread disaster here in recent weeks, but they're still a very talented team, and they have a huge offensive edge. They shoot 45, 50% almost every game. Minnesota, one of the worst shooting teams in the league, below 43% this year. And the Nets have not played since Tuesday when they had that near win against the Knicks. They've got Chicago at home tomorrow, and then they're off for a couple more days. So looks like it should be a pretty focused spot tonight for Brooklyn. Hate coming on as an invited guest and then dared to disagree at the contrarian play, but I'd probably lean Brooklyn.
Listen, we all know what happens when you thumb your nose up at the contrarian gods. Timberwolves 7.5 here tonight, guys, especially if Towns goes. And keep an eye on that, guys, plus 7.5. All right, let's dive into our featured game tonight. And what better game here, guys, right? Round 2, Phoenix taking on the Golden State Warriors here. This game opened up at 7 here for the Golden State Warriors, who are at home. I'm still seeing 7s. I'm seeing a 215. So it's come down just a touch here. So, Tony Mejia, I will come back to you here. Round 2 in this one, minus Booker. What do you think here? A little revenge for the Golden State Warriors at home?
I mean, if you're looking at the line, that's what that would indicate. Just double checking here. Yes, I would be right by making the statement that the last time the Warriors lost consecutive games, it was in the play-in round, and we didn't see them in the postseason. So it's been a while. Hasn't happened this season. Ja Morant and company got them, obviously, to eliminate the Warriors from being in last year's playoffs. And so, look, you've got Steph Curry coming off a 4 for 21 performance from the field, 3 of 14 from three-point range, and Mikal Bridges obviously got the bulk of the credit there. But it was also DeAndre Ayton switching out and really bothering Steph with his length and his ability to get out there on pick and rolls, and the advantage that Steph typically has when he's able to get an opposing big man out there on the perimeter just wasn't available. And that doesn't necessarily change just because we're in San Francisco. He's still going to have to deal with those same two defenders. So, I mean, the number, though, is wild because it's 7. That's a lot, especially when you're facing a team that has won 18 consecutive games. Yes, they're on the second night of the back-to-back. Yes, they don't have Devin Booker due to the hamstring issue. But at the same time, you've got a team that's really used to winning. They've got, even if you're up, say, 13 in the last minute plus, you've got Campaign and you've got Landry Shamet who can hit a couple of threes, and all of a sudden you get backdoored. So I don't love the laying of the points here. Although with that number, I would say that Golden State could certainly pull off a blowout win. But even if that happens, I think I'm leaning towards the under here. It's lower than the Tuesday night game was, and I think we'll see an obscene amount of defense here as well, just simply because you've got two teams that do it really well with Ayton and Bridges, like I mentioned earlier, and then on the other end you've got Draymond Green, Jay Crowder, so many guys that are really at the core of who they are, defensive players in a game that everybody's going to be watching. I'll side with the under.
So it's Steve, let me ask you, because their situation is Steph Curry sucked. He couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat in that game. They turned the ball over a lot. It was a bad game, not very Golden State-esque. However, the personnel has changed here a little bit tonight. So you got to think the Booker injury baked into this number. Is it too much for you, though?
It's interesting because we always say, don't try to catch that falling knife. It's the same thing with a hot team. You're not looking to fade a team that's won, 18 straight, as Tony mentioned. But that Booker injury definitely seems like it could be the catalyst for maybe cooling off the red-hot Phoenix Suns. But, of course, he went down mid-game against Golden State the other night, and they still won that game by 8. Stayed well under the total, though, like Tony Mejia said. I've actually got a strong best bet on the side here, so I'll let the other guys talk about it. It's at WagerTalk.com tonight. On the total, though, I would look at the under as well in this game. Normally these quick revenge situations, if the first game went under as much as that one did, you think, well, there'll be a reversal. But Golden State is a sneaky good defensive team this year, 15-6 to the under. They're allowing just 100 points per game. I mean, this isn't that high-flying, no-defense Golden State team like we've seen in years past. They've held almost every opponent the last few weeks, like 42% or less shooting, except for the Suns. So we'll see if the Suns can do it tonight without Booker. Obviously, it's a quick revenge spot for the Warriors, but now we have an 18-game win streak, getting 7 points. My side selection at WagerTalk.com, but I would lean towards the under here on the show, under 216. I don't think it's low enough.
So, Rob, we did talk about it on the show the other night, and a lot of us were looking at the under in game number 1. Still looking at the under here in game number 2.
All right, so let me include our good friend and colleague Ski Prophet on this show, because I was on a show with him earlier. And Tony Finn, you have to cover your ears for this, because I'm going to change this segment from John Ryan's angle of the day to Ski Prophet's angle of the day. But I'm going to read it right off my iPhone. I asked him to text it to me, and he just texted it to me. So, and it goes right to the under, which Tony Mejia and Steve Merrill both just alluded to. Here we go. I'll try and go slow. Teams matching up for the second time in less than a week after going under in their previous matchup, and with a lower total in the second game, which all fits tonight's situation. Those teams are 79, 50, and 2, 61.2% winners to the under since 2015. So if you're on under, you're on a 61.2% trend in rematch, quick revenge or quick return rematch. That comes from Ski. Me, I was a heck of a lot simpler, Joe, when I looked at this game this morning. Listen, we talked about Phoenix last year and how easy it was. If you think they're going to win, bet them. Golden State is on that same tear right now. The last 14 wins by the Golden State Warriors are all covers. 14-0 against the spread in their last 14 wins. If you think they're going to win tonight, don't be afraid. Lay the 7. I think I would go that direction. They obviously have revenge from the other night. And as we saw last year, I think Phoenix got it up to, it was above 20, if I remember right, before they finally won a game where they didn't cover. So Golden State's been winning by huge margin all season long. When they do win, I think they will win this game. A plus B equals C. I'm going to take Golden State minus the points.
All right. Take it, lay it. What do you think, Finn? Do you agree with the side total? Which way you going here?
I wasn't on the show that you guys were referring to. It was Tuesday when they played, but I had a 5% play. I think I sent it to you, Joe. I sent all my stuff to you that day because I kind of want to be on, but I wasn't. 5% on under the 220. That game actually, when I entered that game, it actually reached. I think it went up. The public pushed that to 222 or something like that. I don't know what it closed at. I just know that the final score was 200 total points, 20 points under that total. Here's the issue that I have with this. You guys have already talked about it. You talked about Golden State turning the ball over in critical situations late in the game. Curry not shooting very well, having an off night. And a lot of those shots were uncontested shots. He just missed. He had an off night. There was a lot of things that played into the hands of a team that could do no wrong and haven't done any wrong for 18 straight games. Right? Look, I'm with you guys too. I heard somebody speaking to basically if there was a hangover game, if there was a letdown game, it was that Detroit game yesterday for Phoenix at Talking Stick. Right? It was my free pick yesterday. Was Detroit plus the 12, 13, whatever it was, and. In truth, the Suns were in a position to lose that game yesterday. They really were. Here's the deal. Is there anybody better than Steve Kerr in these situations where we're going to do something different? We're going to do something different. And they are. They're going to run. Listen, there's no team, almost no team. One team is worse in transition defense than Phoenix. They're going to run more tonight. They're going to run more. They're on their home court. They're going to get out to a lead. My concern is this. I like the under again here, 216. Or at least I did. Until I started looking at the plays and Steve Kerr and this team. I know I'm going on, but I'm just going to get off the air here. There's trends for this game tonight. For instance, no rest trends. Or let's go rest on 2 to 3 days. Golden State 3-0, 18-point margin of victory, 11 points better than the spread. 3-0 are totals, unders 0-3, 100%. 11 points less on average of those 3 games than the closing total. Golden State 4-1-1 with rest advantage, 13.2 margin of victory, 5 points better than the spread. With Phoenix with no rest, 1-3, -4 margin on average of those 4 games, lost by 4 points, and they were off the total, or at least off the spread, by 6 points. Phoenix with no rest, 1-3, 4-5. Everything points to, as Mr. Rob said, a Golden State play, -7. I think they got early, and then Phoenix starts kind of getting out of character, start throwing up the threes, and you can see I can see Golden State winning this game by 20.
Well, it's 11-1 at home, so they have certainly liked the home cooking, the Golden State Warriors. We'll see if they can get the job done, maybe even by double digits. I can promise you this. I don't think Curry is going to shoot 19% again in this game here. I'm willing to say he makes a few more buckets here tonight. All right, let's move it on. We'll head to our overtime game here, a game in which we will take a look at the total. And the total that we've got up here tonight, the Lakers taking on the Clippers. Now, interesting part about this game here, guys, is that this was supposed to be the featured ESPN game of the night, but they were like, oh, hell no. Hell no, we ain't putting this shit on TV. So instead, Golden State and Phoenix are going to be the featured game tonight, and the Lakers and Clippers, well, only Ski Profit will be watching this game. It opened up at 215.5. It has been bet up, Tony Mejia, 218.5 here. Do we trust either of these teams to go up and over the total?
No, not really. I like the under a lot in this game, but like, it's funny, it's hilarious actually that they moved this game off of national television. But in their defense, it was an easy decision because you didn't expect LeBron James to play when they did it because he was in protocols, which he's obviously beaten. And then Paul George sat out, and now he's back. So if they had put this on TV tonight, it would at least be watchable now. It was absolutely not watchable. And then with Suns Warriors Part 2 available, that was a no-brainer. But yeah, these teams don't deserve to be on TV based on how they played of late. The Lakers, without LeBron, did beat the Kings the other night, but it was a really slow start, and they just needed Sacramento to be more terrible than they were in order to pull away. And then the Clips have been beating teams strictly by playing defense, which is not too aesthetically pleasing. And in this game, I think we're going to see a very strong defensive effort from the Clippers, trying to keep LeBron in check, trying to keep Anthony Davis, who's played a lot better, from getting going. And Davis, I think, is the key to the Lakers taking off to where we expected them to be and not being this mediocre team that they have been, because he needs to be Anthony Davis on the defensive end of the floor. And we have not heard his name up there with Rudy Gobert and Giannis Antetokounmpo and Draymond Green the way it was last year among the Defensive Player of the Year candidates. And the reason for that is because he hasn't been good on that end of the floor. Whereas the Clippers, then you throw in Paul George, who can play on that end, Terrence Mann. They don't have Nick Batum due to protocols. He's one of their better defenders. They don't like that. But bottom line, you got Russell Westbrook out there, a non-shooter. A bunch of non-shooters for the Clippers. Marcus Morris just coming back from a knee injury that kept him out. If he's not going, he'll still throw up bricks. So lots of bricklayers out there. Give me the under.
Yeah, it's I don't even know. Merrill, which is the better defensive team here? Or is it really just a matter of not trusting either offense?
Yeah, it's obviously difficult to trust either team here. I would say from a side perspective, I know this is the overtime segment, but I think the Lakers are probably a little more trustworthy tonight if they do have their lineup with Davis and James. And if that's the case, I think it could be a little bit of a higher scoring game than expected. So I have no problem with the over, and I would probably lean towards the Lakers as well. But definitely a game I'm not touching. Once again, when I handicap these games each morning, I don't like the uncertainty. Like we talked about with Anthony Towns, if you don't know if he's playing until 5 minutes before the game, why put it out 8 hours ahead of time? So I'm staying off this game tonight, but I think the over makes some sense. And we have seen the line, by the way, go from Clippers -2 to Lakers -2.5. Total has gone from 15.5 to 218, 18.5, which makes it look like those guys are playing.
Yeah, and if they do go, Tony Finn, is it over or not for you in this spot?
No, it's. Listen, I like this total going up. When I saw it hit 218 right before the show here, I went ahead and I was giving away. I played the under in this game for a couple of reasons. And if there's something that you can trust the Clippers to do, it's to defend. I mean, if you look at their numbers, obviously with save an aberration here or there, where somebody was hot from the perimeter, this team's been good defensively, allowing 104.6, I think, per 100. The problem is they're horrendous offensively. They have no bench. They have nobody outside of George and a couple. If they're healthy and their front court's together, they can compete. But they don't have a bench, guys. They don't have a bench. They desperately need to see Kawhi, which I don't think they're going to see this year. And I think at some point in time, we're going to see this team just melt and just basically lay down. I don't know what's going to happen. George, I think, will hang tough, but I just think it's going to be a disaster. The one thing the Clippers are going to do tonight, I agree with these guys. I think that Davis will play. He won't want to miss this game. And this is Staples Center's LA, and that's what you're going to have. I think an under 218 is I think it's a terrific. It's a lot more probable than letting believe the Clippers are going to let the Lakers score in the 110s or 120s. I don't see it. That's the one thing we know they're going to do. They're going to hold them. It's going to be a low scoring game. I like the under 218.
All right. Well, Rob, we got some guys looking at the under in this Lakers Clippers. How about you? You looking to the over?
Well, watching them the other night, you wouldn't want to play the Clippers under. I mean, that transition defense was horrendous in that game where Paul George sat. They played Sacramento. I mean, it was like playing in the 8th grade again with the cherry picking that De'Aaron Fox was doing. Just watch a shot go up and leak out, and bang, you got 2 points. So something's fallen apart recently for the Clippers. Their overall stats tell a different story that Tony Finn laid out really good as being a good defensive team, but the last 3 to 5 games, just not so great. I mean, they've allowed 123 and 124 in back-to-back games, 51%, 52% shooting, 3 straight games in a row now where they've allowed 40% or better from 3. I don't know if that's some kind of disintegration of defense or if those are just outliers on a season where we have 22 games, I think 23 games of, statistical information to base it off of. For the Lakers, 5 of their last 6, how about this? 121 points scored, 124, 137, 110, 117. They've been scoring, and the totals in those games, 238, 237, 240, 278, 216. And there's a 209 in there. So some of this recent stuff indicates that this would go over. I was talking this morning with Ski, and I think he's big on those last 5 games numbers. And I think he said that the Clippers ranked 23rd in the last 5 games in 3-point defense. Of course, you have to make 3-pointers in order for that to matter any. And the Lakers aren't the best 3-point shooting team. However, contrary to that, they've shot 50% on the nose in 3 straight games now. Lakers are still number 3 in pace. Clippers are number 11. Also things that would lead you towards over. And this Brandon Boston from Kentucky, who the Clippers are called up from the G League and let him loose on the floor the other night to provide some offensive punch into the team. He looked pretty good. LeBron came back for this game for a reason. So I would probably lean over here, Joe. The number, I think I agree with the movement up just based on what these teams have done in this subset last 5-6 games.
All right, looking towards the over. A couple overs, couple of unders in this one. Lakers taking on the Clippers. Now it is time to see whose dog is who. Let's get it, Robert.
That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. And anybody got to say anything, you let me know. That's my dog.
Yep, we got a few of them barking here tonight. 9 games in total. Let us check out what the dog options are for today. They include, the Miami Heat, the Cavs, the 76ers, The T-Wolves, the Orlando, well, that means Houston's a favorite. Oh, good Lord. Pelicans here, shocker. And we got Celtics, Suns, and of course, the Clippers. So, Tony Mejia, coming to you. Which one of these are you willing to make your dog tonight?
Well, I went with the Pelicans the other night, and I mentioned, A, I mentioned that I was undefeated in this segment, and B, I said the one thing that concerns me is Josh Hart is questionable. Well, Josh Hart didn't play, and then Luka Doncic put on a shooting display to have my dog neutered and then put down by halftime. That was sad. I would, however, go back to the Pelicans if I knew Josh Hart was going to play, because I typically, when I like something like that, it'll always happen the next game if that's a next game situation, which in this case it is. But with Hart still uncertain, I moved on to the Philadelphia 76ers, who I kind of like tonight to win outright in a nationally televised game. But that line is now swinging towards the Hawks because Tobias Harris missed shoot-around, and that would lead me to believe that he's going to sit, so can't use Philly. So I'm going to go to the Clippers. I don't believe in this Lakers team. The line movement obviously is LeBron-based because it went from the Clippers being favored to the Lakers being favored. And then LeBron, I mean, who knows where he is right now as far as being in game shape and ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Clippers and say they cover, if not pull the outright upset.
All right, making the Clippers his dog here tonight. Rob Veno, the Pelicans are on the board. Which one are you going to make your dog tonight?
I'll rest on the laurels of that plus 13.5 that night where they beat Utah straight up. I don't see any reason, Joe, not to select the Cavaliers out of this bunch. As an underdog, they've been terrific so far this season. I think 12-3-2 against the number as a dog. I think I saw earlier 7-2 as a road dog. That front line, Markkanen, since they got Mobley back, Mobley was out for a few games. Now he's been back for 2-3 games. Markkanen, Mobley, and Jared Allen. This is quite a defensive front line that they put together here. And really, that's been the key to a lot of success. You would have thought that when Colin Sexton went down, that would have spelled trouble for the Cleveland Cavaliers, but Ricky Rubio stepped up nicely. I think the other night he had a plus 38 plus minus number, did Ricky Rubio. So plenty of guys here, and I think that the odds makers are starting to show the respect to Cleveland that maybe they've earned over the course of these first 20 to 25 games. My power ratings made the game 4.5, but then we saw the line at 3.5. Now we see it down to 3. So partial odds maker respect, partial money respecting the Cavs. I think I'm in that boat. I'll take the Cavs plus 3 against Washington.
All right, going Cavs plus the 3. Boy, that's been a money maker this year for sure. All right, Tony Finn, which one of these you willing to make your dog here tonight?
I'm gonna sit right next to Rob, behind the Cavaliers bench tonight, and take the Cavaliers plus the points. Real quickly, Washington is about as miserable shooting team from the perimeter as there is, and in truth, this is a team that makes hay around the rim, 4 feet and in. Cleveland with Mobley. Listen, those who don't like Mobley in there, I know a lot of guys who don't like Mobley, but you have to respect his ability to defend, and he's going to be a defender in this league. If he can play defense like he's doing right now, then guess what? His bank is going to be happy that he's still played in the NBA another 10, 15 years if he stay healthy. What Cleveland has done, 100.1 per 100 possessions when those two guys are on the floor. You guys mentioned Allen and Mobley. They only give up about 48% success rate around the rim. And when Washington wins, they have to shoot right around 68 to 69% around the rim. It is this is the wrong team's favored. One of those deals where, hey, the wrong team is favored. The Cleveland defense holding opponents to 94.8 per 100 possessions, last 3 since Mobley returned. Absolutely 100%. Cleveland should be given points here. Give me the Cavaliers plus 4 as your guys' dog of the day and my dog.
Wait a minute. Right. I want 4. If Tony can have 4, I want 4.
Yeah, if he can have 4, well, he can have whatever he wants. That makes a difference. They're probably going to go off as a favorite any now anyway. So, all right, Steve Merrill, which one of these are you willing to make your dog here tonight?
Yeah, first time I get to do this fantastic new segment, and I didn't want to, offend our producer Robert like Tony Finn did on the college show and go against his beloved Houston team. So I'm not going to use Orlando. By the way, the Rockets have won 4 in a row straight up. 3 of those as a dog, so definitely not taking them. I'm going to go with your Miami Heat, Joe Raineri. Your Miami Heat plus 5.5. Now I know they're shorthanded, and that's why the better team, 13-9 Heat, are a 5.5-point dog to the 9-15 Pacers, and that's because Adebayo's out now as of this week, and Butler is not expected to play tonight, so they're shorthanded. But as you guys remember, just blindly playing on these injury-depleted teams seems like it's been money in the bank the last year and a half. Definitely was last season when we started following it. And the Heat, by the way, this is only the 4th time. I don't have one of those highfalutin SDQL databases like Ski and Rob Veno have on their morning coffee chats. But I do have a little quick one here. And the Heat have only been a dog 4 times in their last 20 games, going back to October. And they're 3-1 straight up, 4-0 against the spread those 4 times as dogs. Now, I know they're shorthanded tonight, but I think this is a vast overreaction. Miami Heat plus 5.5 or plus 180 on the money line. Definitely a live dog tonight at Indiana.
Outstanding, Merrill. Outstanding. And there you got it, guys. Those are today's dogs for you, which leads us to figure out what the best bets are. And right now, we'll go ahead and start up at the top there. 60 seconds on the clock. Tony Mejia, where you going here, man? What's your best bet tonight?
All right, well, Jeremiah Robinson-Earl has entered the transfer portal. Minus 56 yesterday for the Thunder. He wants to go back to Villanova. I think he should. The pick tonight for me will be the Utah Jazz, who have not been an underdog at all this season. They were a pick 'em at the Miami Heat and lost that game, actually, but they've been favored in every single game that they've played, and they've actually had a few setbacks in November at home, which is a rarity. They went only 6-4 at home, when they'll be at home tonight against the Boston Celtics, but they lost to the Pelicans by 1, the Grizzlies by 1, lost to the Pacers in a blowout fashion, and the Heat caught them. But in their wins, they beat the Hawks by 12, the Sixers by 35, the Raptors by 16. They got revenge on the Pelicans the next night by 22 and own a 22-point win over the Blazers that they're coming in. No Jaylen Brown in this one. So I think they're going to blow out the Boston Celtics and get back on track. Give me Utah -8.
Oh, taking the Utes to get it done. All right, good stuff there. Rob Veno, 60 seconds on the clock, my friend. Where are you going tonight?
I'm going to use the first 30 to let Steve reduce the price of all my packages for the weekend. 5% college football play, 4% best bets. Somehow, Steve, get the people to think that they're not paying $249 for the rest of the month, but they're only paying like $60. I know you can do that. Help me out a little bit here. I'm just going to go back to where we were before, guys. I think an old saying that we've used on this show for 2-3 years now: if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Golden State wins games the last 14, and they're 14-0 against the spread. I see no reason why, if I think they're going to win tonight, not to play them minus the points. The revenge, obviously, all that stuff, as was mentioned earlier, is put into the line, but I still don't think the line's high enough. Golden State's defense allows them to win by double-digit margins. It's been mentioned here that Steph Curry was off the other night, not likely to be off for a second night. Give me Golden State -7, best bet for the show.
Wow. Love it. Can't believe nobody's gone with Houston yet. All right there, Tony Finn. Let's go, my friend. You got 60 seconds. Talk to us. Where are you going tonight on the card?
The Warriors are not my best bet, but I will throw one thing in before I go to my best bet, and that is the Warriors. Of their 18 wins, 14 of these wins by double digits.
Woo!
I like your play, Rob. I like your play. The Cavs have covered 5 straight. We talked a little bit about Miami. Against Miami the other night, albeit injured, beat up, damaged goods, the Cavs surrendered 0.962 points per possessions. Allen and Mobley basically screaming out of the side of their mouths, get this shyster out of 9 block shots at the rim. Miami shot 48.7% within 4 feet of the basket. 100 possessions is what Cleveland's doing. They're the 4th best percentage in the league. Here's you go. You get nothing tonight. Nothing tonight. Not only is Cleveland a winner, it goes under the total. My best bet, Cleveland under the number. I think what we got 206.5.
Yep. Oh, and under with authority, he's going under. Swapped. All right, Merrill, you got it. 60 seconds. Rob wants you to do math. We want a best bet. Talk to us. Where are you going here tonight?
Yeah, I'm going to actually look at both ESPN games, and I'm going to give you the first one for free here as a free play for the show between the Hawks and Sixers. And then we have a best bet for my clients in the late game between the Warriors and Suns. We talk total here on the show, but I've got a strong side best bet at WagerTalk.com. And for my good friend Rob Veno, I'll tell you quickly how you can get my next 3 days for just $49, and that's with promo code Steve49. STEVE is how you spell it, Rob. Steve49 gets you Friday, Saturday, Sunday. My number one ranked basketball, 32-16 this season, and more importantly, both 5% NFL best bet Sunday. First time in history I've had 2 5%ers on the same day. Steve49, WagerTalk.com. Let's look at the Atlanta Hawks minus 2.5 at 7:30 Eastern tonight on Friday, ESPN. As we are doing this show live, Tobias Harris has been ruled out the last 15 minutes due to illness. He will not play tonight. Not good news for a Sixers team that shot below 43% in half of their last 12 games. Hawks 8-1 straight up at 8. The last 9, they've shot 48% or better in all 8 wins. Huge mismatch tonight. Atlanta Hawks minus 2.5 at home. Count it.
Boom! All you had to do was ask, Rob, and you got it. A whole lot of math is what we got there. All right, guys, great stuff here. Let's recap it for you. One more time on today's show, we've got Tony Mejia, his dog. He give him the Clippers. Give me the Clippers. Anybody but the Lakers there. Best bet going Utah Jazz taking down the Boston Celtics there, lady 8. Rob Veno's Cleveland Cavaliers are his dog. Likes the Warriors, though. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, laid the 7. Tony Finn, he too wants to make the Cavs his dog. And he'll also double down in the same game. Give me a little Cavs whiz under 208.5. While Steve Merrill going Miami Heat. Give me 5.5 against Indiana. And he likes the Hawks at home against the Sixers here. Minus Tobias Harris laid the 2.5. And our contrarian play of the day, the Minnesota Timberwolves getting 7.5 against the Brooklyn Nets. Keep an eye on Karl Anthony Towns, guys, one way or the other. The contrarian gods have spoken. They're going T-Wolves there. All right, you heard about Steve's 3-day package. Now, we'll tell you once again, for $249, you get an all-access package through the end of the year. It happens once a year, and it happens, well, at the end of the year, which means you get every play, your favorite handicapper, every play, every sport, all access, including the 5% best bets, $249. Just visit them now. No coupon code needed. It's right there. Go to Tony Mejia, go to Tony Finn, go to Rob Veno, go to Steve Merrill, and get every one of their plays through December 31st right now for $249. It's a great deal, guys. Trust me, in this month here, NBA, college hoops in full swing, NHL, still got a ton of soccer going on, and of course, championship college football week tonight, and the NFL. So you can't go wrong, guys. $249 right now at WagerTalk.com. All right, it's been a hell of a week. We look to keep it rolling into the weekend. So we thank you guys very much for hanging out with us on behalf of Tony Mejia, Rob Veno, his twin brother with a different mother, Tony Finn, and of course, Steve Merrill, straight from the coach's box, hanging out with us here on the Friday edition of the NBA Tip-Off Show. Appreciate the time, guys. Best of luck with your plays tonight, throughout the weekend, and come back and join us again on Monday. We'll do it all over again for another week of the NBA Tip-Off Show. Good luck, guys. We'll talk to you then.
Founded in 1957, the Gold Sheet is the country's longest-running sports betting newsletter. Each week, the Gold Sheet team delivers analysis on NFL and college football games, along with NBA and college basketball matchups. The Gold Sheet maintains in-depth point spread and results logs, giving sports bettors and enthusiasts the insights needed to maximize their wagers. For over 60 years, Gold Sheet readers have received key releases based on power rankings on all teams, and for the first time ever, you can now get these selections exclusively at goldsheet.com, wagertalk.com, and sportsmemo.com.